I think it's her attitude in those interviews that people have been kind of put off by. Hi and welcome to Colossal Talk. I'm Sashti Flo, and here on my channel I talk about my good and bad experiences in Hollywood and working as an entertainment reporter. And here's Magnus. Yay! Magnus is here dressed in white because we're talking about Snow White.
Ooh,
yes.
Smart. See what you did there.
Anyways, there's been so much talk about Rachel Zegler lately. She's all over YouTube. Every time I search for something on YouTube, a video about Rachel Zegler shows up. And there's been so much talk lately about how she might have been by herself almost ruining the box office for the Snow White movie. What do you think? Could she be responsible? Could she put responsibility of an actor on an actress?
No, well, that's harsh, but she certainly had something to do with it, I think. She has created a lot of publicity for Disney, and not always
good. I mean, journalists weren't even invited to show up at the red carpet for the premiere, because they were afraid she was going to say something that would hurt the movie even more. There was a good story. I've been reading a few stories lately about this, and there was a good story here that said something that I really think is so important in this whole discussion. And there was a quote from someone in the industry saying that Hollywood became so confused over identity politics that it turned on itself, because insiders say the industry never held any true values. And I think
basically saying they just jumped on the train because they thought it would help them, or
yes, it says here that when woke first came, it was about the bottom line. The producer, there's a producer here explaining this they're not using his name. Studios thought going woke would attract a new younger audience and make them money, but all it did was piss everyone off. And I think that's so true. And for me, this whole movement in Hollywood, this woke movement, felt so fake. And I think that's, like it says here, that's why it pissed people off, because it didn't come from a good place. It came from a place like, where can we make the most money? And we think this is the right direction to go in. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I think you have a point. And I think the producer has a point, because if it was real, they would continue on this path, right? And now it seems like they're canceling DEI people left and right, and everyone's like saying, oh, we can't have anything to do with this. And they're even recasting movies now where they've had
Are they?
Yeah, didn't we read that today about they took out a trans person out of something?
Yes, of a series.
Yeah. So certainly, I think, there's something to it.
There was an interesting story in the Wrap the other day that caught my attention as well. It says that Snow White producer's son slams Rachel Zegler for hijacking movie with political posts that clearly hurt the box office. So the son of Mark Platt, who is the producer of Snow White, came out on social media. He deleted all the posts later. I think he got a lot of heat for saying it.
Back as well, yeah.
But he basically came out and blamed everything on Rachel Zegler, which I don't think is
well, there were
right, but
there were other things as well involved in this, failed campaign. But yeah, go ahead.
But I think that the whole discussion here is that, should actors be allowed to speak their mind on political things while they're in a process of promoting a movie?
That's very interesting, yeah.
Do you think that they should have in their contracts that they can't talk about? But
as a journalist, I would love for them to be able to speak their minds, of course. But if I had invested $200 million or 300, as they say, this might have cost, I wouldn't want a clause where it says you can't.
Exactly. So she said, like the tweet that everyone's been talking about is when she said, she talked about how she was excited about the movie coming out and everyone to see it and the premiering. And then she also added to the same thread, remember Free Palestine or something like that. That tweet was so powerful that the producer here flew to New York to Rachel Zegler personally to ask her to take it down. And she didn't.
Oh, she didn't?
No. And that's when his son, the producer's son, came out on social media and said, she hurt this movie so much and, it's her responsibility. So Rachel Zegler is just 21 years old. So, I mean, for her to have put so much responsibility on such a young person, I think it's unfair. So the son of the producer came out and he said that free speech does not mean you're allowed to say whatever you want in your private employment without repercussions. Tens of thousands of people worked on that film, and she hijacked the conversation for her own immature desire at the risk of all the colleagues and crew and blue-collar workers who depend on that movie to be successful. Narcissism is not something to be coddled or encouraged.
Oh, that's harsh.
Yeah.
As we talked about in another video, we have seen that old tweets or statements can really hurt a movie, and I'm starting to think that will studios in the future do what they do in politics? Do you think they're going to start to vet the people they work with, so they can sort of have them in the limelight?
But that doesn't have work though in politics, because they still elect them even if they have fine things about their past.
But some are stopped because of it, and then I wonder if because or will they just go to CGI and AI and create people that have no controversial
I mean it's a very
opinions.
I think it's a very interesting discussion, because as we know, when someone like this movie had so many other problems though. We had the problems with the 7 dwarfs that were replaced by CGI that pissed off
CGI.
The whole CGI, by the whole community of short people that were really, upset about that. And then you had Gal Gadot, who was pro-Israel. She's Israeli. She's even fought on the Israeli side. So you had that the politics crashing there. Yeah, and then you have Rachel Zegler's previous statements in interviews saying that the old movie was so dated and the prince was basically a stalker.
There is a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. Super weird.
I think it's her attitude in those interviews that people have been kind of put off by, that she seemed like,
Yeah, but I saw one of them this morning because we were going to talk about this, and one of them, she's laughing about it. It's not like, I don't think that came from a mean-spirited place, though.
No, I don't think she's mean-spirited by any of this. I don't think so. I think she's just young, and she feels that she has a voice now, and she's using that voice, but it's just that voice is hurting the box office, and it's hurting the bottom line. But if they can't put all responsibility on her, obviously. I mean, there is so many other things that is wrong with this film.
To everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Maybe she's made an easy scapegoat as well, though, for something that's underperforming.
That's true. It's so easy to blame it, all the other things they messed up with here on one person. And
it was a terribly run campaign, though. I mean, because there was one scandal after another, and that really damages the brand.
And the fact that it was delayed for years because they knew there were so many problems with the film. I found this person was saying something on Reddit about it that I thought was interesting. She said, "I never in my life thought I'd feel sorry for this girl," talking about Rachel Zegler. "As of right now, she's getting attacked, harassed, and smeared just as hard or even harder than Brie Larson was. But unlike Brie, where Hate Train was conducted by mostly toxic Marvel fanboys, Rachel's backlash is getting to the point where the general public is actually turning on her." Long story short, Rachel has made some light-hearted comments criticizing the 1937 original animation of Snow White, on top of her being half a quarter Latina playing the character. I think mostly now this is not what's hurting her, mostly what she was saying about the original, but it's actually her political tweets. Do you remember all the backlash from Brie Larson?
No, I don't, but
I just remember interviewing her, and she was like,
"Oh God, what a
not my favorite person."
I never want to interview her again.
No.
God.
But yeah, I think for a person her age to be in the middle of so much controversy, that's hardcore. I hope she gets out of this, with her mental health intact, because it's a lot for her to carry. I still don't understand how she can come out. She comes out with new videos and stuff all the time, and keeps on putting things on Instagram and Twitter and
throwing gasoline on the fire. That's
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. So, but
I wonder who's advising her.
Yeah.
Blake Lively's PR.
Yeah, Leslie Sloan. No, but I think it's going to be interesting to see now if that could be in the contract of an actress. While you are promoting this movie, you are not allowed to put out your political views out there.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Especially after this, yeah.
I'm going to have to ask a PR expert about this as well, because I think it's very interesting. Because, we all for free speech, but obviously you want to hire someone for a movie that you think it's got a low risk of controversy and scandals. And I wonder if it's going to affect Rachel Zegler's career from now on. What do you think? Do you think she's going to be having difficulties getting other jobs?
I don't know. That's interesting too. I think certainly they will think twice about hiring her right now.
Anyways,
think about it. If you have a regular job and you put a pin here that's a sort of controversial statement, and you work at Walmart or whatever, will they not tell you not to wear it?
I guess so.
I think they will.
Yeah. And I think especially in this country where it's so polarized, half the country is on one side and half is on the other side. And if you support one side very specifically, people on the other side might boycott watching the movie. So I get it.
Yeah, let us know what you think, though.
Yeah.
Should actors be allowed to say what they think when they promote movies and make political statements? What's your opinion?
Yeah.
I'd like to hear from you.
The thing is, I've had this so many times, back and forth. I don't know what I think about this anymore, because, I want people to be able to be honest in interviews and say what they mean about something. But also, I feel like people are tired of hearing from celebrities who they're going to vote for. And they're like, we don't care about your opinion. You're an actor. Just be an actor. So there's a double-edged sword there.
Damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
I was asked when I was interviewing Jane Fonda, don't ask her any political questions, because obviously they were afraid that she was going to say something that could piss some people off and they wouldn't go and watch the movie.
And it was the same with Clint Eastwood, as you said.
Yeah. Same with Clint Eastwood, who also said some things in my interview that was controversial. He was kind of toning down the Me Too movement, and that was not well received. And the studio freaked out about it and removed my video from YouTube. So, yeah. My last question. What do you think about what's happening right now in Hollywood of Me Too and women coming forward? Does that surprise you that this happened, or are you...
No, I'm not surprised. I mean, there are certain situations, I'm sure, that have been degrading to people along the way. Everybody probably has those. But there are probably women in the entertainment industry that... But the whole industry is that way. It's not just women. I think the whole thing, when you get into it, it's just different. It's a feast or famine kind of thing. It's not an industry where you can kind of study it and go through and work your way up from a class education. It's an education of that you come along and just do by doing, and there are a lot of people that want to be in it, I guess, and a lot of young gals that want to be in it, and a lot of guys that want to be in it, and they what's the matter, Dawn?
Am I
You're
interrupting?
looking
I'm
kind of nervous. I thought I was saying something incorrect.
He loves having me in the room. He really does.
So anyway, that's just the way it is, and then there's always extremes in it too, and the extremes are now. It's going along and people are sympathetic, but now people are going, wait a second. So we'll see where it ends up.
I think they're trying to throw me out of here now. I'm the last interview.
Are you?
Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and thanks for all your support, and send me tips on what you want me to talk about. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Awesome Talk. And I'll see you in my next one.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.